Hello, everyone. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Today, we're going to talk about what are we doing and why are we doing it. I know I've talked a lot about your why. This is a little bit different. First, let me say, those of you new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Um, how about giving me a thumbs up? Maybe go down in the comment and say hello. You could even subscribe. It's absolutely free. That would be awesome. Help an old guy like me get out and share my message that it's never too late to change your life. 15 and a half months ago, I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes, and now I'm outside walking every day. I'm not actually outside walking today because the heat wave is finally broken and the front is moving through. It's pouring down rain out there. I've got a little clip of the rain that I'm going to insert at the end of this. If it came out okay, we'll see. But yeah, I'm out there walking. Like I said, I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes. Now I'm doing all my own yard work, cutting the grass, going to the Y 4 days a week and working out. 2 days a week walking in chest deep water as hard as I can go. 2 days a week working out with the cable machine to strengthen some joints that are a little bit weaker. I walk every day. I'm doing lots of stuff that I never thought I could do. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means an awful lot to me that you spend a few moments of your day with me. Now let's get into this and what I'm talking about here. Let's start with a little analogy I heard. We've all been to construction sites, and they almost all have sign up, hard hat required in this area. Well, why is there a hard hat required in this area? Because the chances of something falling from above and hitting you in the head are much higher in a construction zone. And is the hard hat going to save your life? Maybe, maybe not. It has a chance. If a wrench falls from above and cracks you in the head, it's less likely to kill you. But, if the whole building comes down and you get hit on the head with, a 5,000-pound slab of concrete, the hard hat's probably not going to make any difference. So it's all situational. And what I'm getting at is this. When you go to your doctor and get labs done, why are you getting the labs done? Well, because you want to know if something's wrong with you. But, most labs are there because they have some kind of a pharmaceutical that they can give you to not correct the problem that caused your lab to be out of whack, but to alleviate the symptoms. Does alleviating the symptoms make that disease go away? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say. Let's look at high blood pressure for a moment. If you've got high blood pressure, does a drug that lowers it a little bit solve the problem, or does it just lower your blood pressure a little bit? Well, why was your blood pressure high? We don't know that. How about if you're diabetic? So what I'm trying to say here is it all kind of works together, and you can't just look at, oh, well, my cholesterol is high, so I need to take a statin, or my blood pressure is high, so I obviously need to lower that. Well, it all depends on what else you have going on with that. You have to take into account, are you diabetic? Do you have high blood pressure? Are you overweight? Are you inflamed? Do you have stress? Are you getting proper movement in? All of these things kind of work together to determine our entire state as what our health is. So as came out in a live stream interview that I did on Dr. Barry's private group with Teresa, I do not currently have a primary care physician. I do still go see my cardiologist, those visits are reduced down to once a year now instead of once every 3 months. Because that's something that I'm actually a little concerned about, but not terrible anymore. He likes things the way they're going well enough that he said, I'll just see you next year, which is great. But I don't actually have a primary care physician because nothing hurts. Nothing bothers me. I did get labs done recently at an independent lab, just because I sort of wanted to know. But all of my labs are in normal ranges. My LDL is still what some would consider a little bit high, with my total cholesterol being in the 255, 260 range. I'm not worried about that at all. That's right in the range of what appears to be protective. So I'm not saying don't go to a primary care physician, but if they, if your doctor is telling you this is the one thing that matters, no, there is no one thing that matters. You have to look at everything as a whole. Your blood pressure, your A1C, your blood glucose reading, your fasting insulin, what's your metabolic health like, what's your height to weight ratio, are you getting enough exercise in? All of those things kind of add up to make us healthy or not healthy. One of the things I was going to talk about today, these people that have their set in stone ideas of what's healthy and what's not. Has anybody else noticed that there's a lot of demonization of red meat out there with zero science to back it up? I mean, you'll see a story almost every day how red meat causes diabetes, or red meat causes high blood pressure, or red meat clogs your arteries, or red meat will sit in your colon and rot for months at a time. The stories just go on and on and on and on, and there is no science behind any of it. And even if any of those stories were true, you have to look at the entire picture of your health to see where you're at. Now, we all know that most of the studies that these people are pointing to are epidemiological studies, which means they just do food questionnaires. One that's very commonly talked about, they only ask these people the questions once every 4 years through the course of the study. Can you remember what you had for breakfast on Wednesday last week? Or for dinner on Tuesday 2 weeks ago? How in the world are you going to remember what you ate for 4 years at a time? You're not going to be able to. And the other interesting thing that skews these studies against red meat is they don't ask these people, are you only eating meat? They don't ask about the carnivore, ketovore, or meat-based ketogenic diet. They don't ask about any of that stuff. They just ask, are you eating meat? Well, come to find out in a lot of these studies, if you say you're eating pizza, because pizza might have some meat on it, they mark that as a meat eater. And what's one of the biggest ways people in Western culture get meat these days? They get meat by eating hamburgers. Well, what are they having? Like carnivores, are they going through the McDonald's drive-thru and getting just quarter-pound hamburger patties? Or are they getting a quarter pounder with cheese? It comes with a bun and some sauce and some vegetables and all of the other stuff that goes with it. Are they maybe getting some French fries with it? Or maybe a milkshake? They don't differentiate between any of that stuff in these studies. So don't let the studies confuse you, because there aren't actually any studies looking at people who just eat meat. A couple of other quick things that I wanted to mention today. Dr. Baker just had the announcement on his channel that Rivero is now accepting patients. So if you've been interested in getting involved in that, now's the time. You can go sign up as a patient at Rivero. And one of the other things that came up that I'd sort of like to ask your opinion of, my channel has always just been Semi-Retired Bob, all one word. And if you know anything about YouTube, that's like my first name, and I have nothing in the second name space. And I've been thinking about, do I want to add something like Carnivore Off-Grid, because I'm going to move into Texas to start building my homestead, or Homestead Carnivore, or I can't think of anything that's really catchy. I'm more leaning towards just staying Semi-Retired Bob. But if you have any interesting suggestions for what the second half of my channel name should be, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. I hope today's video made some kind of sense. I was kind of all over the place. It is that you're seeing this on Saturday. It is actually Friday, so I have 2 live streams that I'm prepping for. But I wanted to get something down on video for you for tomorrow, which is now today. That always confuses me. But anyway, that's what I've got for you today. I hope you're all having a great weekend. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I will see you in the next one.